The following broadcast is a presentation of iRacing Motorsport Simulations live on PTRTV. We'd like to thank all of our partners for their support.
He may get the run on the outside, off of the back straightaway. 26 and Hallmark trying to go 3 wide. No one's with him.
Talking and bobbing and weaving down the back straightaway, looking for a way around. The 5 machine trying to take a look underneath the 3 car. He's gonna dive it in down to the bottom. A huge move down to the bottom of the racetrack.
Back bumper. Can anything happen through the tri-oval? Walker Thomas to the inside. Here he comes to the outside. Side by side through the tri-oval. The 14. It's going to be a photo finish to the line. Who's going to get it?
Walker Thomas. Machine coming out of turn number 4. Tiller looking to go 3 wide, almost 4 wide. He's going to try to look for a gap. Bobbing and weaving for the lead down through the tri-oval.
Photo finish.
2 by 2. The 65 gets the win.
Welcome, race fans, back to PTRTV on LSRTV. Back with you for the American Sim Racing Series and their Sam Maxwell Customs Truck Series here tonight. It is the playoffs. It is the round of 8. We eliminated 4 drivers, 12 down to 8 for the next round, eventually getting down to Homestead Miami Speedway for the championship 4. But we have 3 races in the round and 125 laps of action tonight for you guys. Bringing you the call for the Freds Indiana 125 here at IRP Lucas Oil Raceway. It's myself, Corey Silva. I got Evan Black with me in the booth, and we have Joe Chris helping us out behind the scenes. And, well, Evan, these trucks came here, well, it was years upon years ago when the trucks came here late 2000s, early 90s. A lot of good racing here, but this track's been sitting dormant. Not a lot of usage on the iRacing side and in the real life side, so that being said, what can we expect with a playoff race on a track that doesn't get run too often?
Well, like you said, not many people run this track, so a lot of these drivers aren't going to have a whole lot of experience here. And one thing about this track is you really can only run that high line. You cannot make any lower than that very top line work very well. So that's going to make people trying to pass very interesting, because you're either going to have to do a slide job or you're going to have to move them out of the way.
Yeah, in our experiences here, that was the case where you really could. There's not much to do, as Evan said. A lot of tracks where the high line is the place you want to be. We'll go back to the Kansas Speedway in the Monster Energy Cup Series race. What do you do when the guy's running the ideal groove? There's more speed up top, so you can't really go any higher. Well, there's a wall there, but if you go any lower, you're detrimenting your speed with that flatter banking down there. Track facts at IRP while we bring that up. We can put it on the screen for you. But like you said, it's going to take a real big slide job. I don't know if the dynamic track will help that inside groove. I would hope that it does. So it's going to be some really hard-nosed short track racing, Evan. But again, what we have to talk about with short track racing, especially in this league, is the incident limit.
Yeah, only a 13 incident limit for this league. So if you hit a car, you're more than likely going to get 4 incident points there. So you can only hit a car, what, about 3 or 4 times then?
Yeah, maybe 3, and then just, I mean, it's very easy. Well, you're running the wall when that is the line that you are running natively. Makes it very easy to, well, just make some contact incidentally throughout the race. So, again, these guys are going to have to play it safe. They're going to have to be aggressive to make these passes, but at the same time, keep these trucks in order. As we have about a minute left, we'll pull up the qualifying order for you guys at the moment, as it should well be confirmed. We have Brandon Stokes up front right now, but what we can do now is we can let you guys know at home who these drivers are that will be continuing to fight through this round of 8. We have Jordan Ashland, we have Mitch Brown, Jared Haggerty, Jared Mogard, Joseph Seville, Devin Serra, Jason Stewart, and Brian Yazik. Those guys are still alive for the championship. You remember from last week, Brian Yazik, he tried getting that cup championship, came oh so very close, led some laps, but ultimately didn't have the speed, had to settle for, if memory serves, it was either a 2nd or 3rd place finish, but he is a favorite here in the truck series, so I would expect him to put on a good showing, and he does have a good qualifying effort thus far in 4th spot to continue that endeavor.
One of those guys I did not see here tonight is Jordan Ashland.
Yeah, very good statement, and well, he's top of the point standings, but he is not here, so I mean, that's pretty much going to automatically take him out of contention here. Interesting turn of events with that. So without further ado, these guys are getting ready to line up here on the grid. So we are going to give it to you right now. The PTRTV on LSRTV starting lineup here from Lucas Oil Raceway. On the pole with a lap time of 21.253. It's going to be Brandon Stokes on the pole here tonight with Sam Maxwell on the outside of the front row. We have Travis Wright in 3rd, Brian Yazik in 4th, Alex Giese in 5th, Jordan Harnish in 6th, and then 7th and 8th is Troy Haight and Jonathan Holstein.
And rolling off in the 9th position, we have the 20 of Devin Serra, and to his outside will be the 18 of Mitch Brown. In 11th, we have Jeremy Banning. In 12th, Alan Young. 13th, Pete Paskins. Jason Stewart in 14th, Jared Haggerty in 15th, and Andy Veltman in 16th.
Jim Foose rolling off in the 17th spot, Robbie Baskins in 18th, and then we have Evan Osborne in 19th, and Tim Knott in 20th. Jack Wells in 21st, Jay Graves Jr. in 22nd. Jared Mogard is 23rd. Nick Kaufman is an omission as he is a race admin. And then we have Tyler Seville running out the field. Weather conditions tonight again from Lucas Oil, as it's quite visually obvious. We are under the lights here tonight. 72 degrees in the air and on the track. Very negligible wind, so that won't be of concern here tonight, Evan. But again, the biggest concern here tonight is just going to be this track itself and trying to gain that track position and trying to preserve it if you do have it.
And a little bit cooler track temps here, only 72 degrees out there on the track, so I wonder, is that going to help the bottom line a little bit maybe?
I would love to say so. This is one of those tracks where, and I'm not trying to degrade the track, it put on a really good race in real life, but more so on the sim racing side of things, I don't think that you can fix this track. And I'm not saying that it's broken, but Lucas Oil, it is what it is, and I don't think that it's going to get changed. So I do expect these guys right on the fence, and we'll see if these guys, well, how these guys are going to be making these passes here tonight. Be 2 pace laps here, and just about at the completion of the first one right now as we get ourselves ready for round 2 of the Sam Maxwell Customs ASRS playoffs. The Cup Series has completed its season, so these guys now are ready for the sole completion of their truck schedule without interruption. So we're going to be happy to bring that to you here tonight as we come through and complete the first pace lap, and Brandon Stokes is going to get us ready to get this race underway.
Coming through 1 and 2 now. On the backstretch, getting ready to come to the green. And Jordan Harnish was just given an EOL penalty. I think he was having some connectivity issues, so he's going to drop to the tail end of the field.
Yeah, he is off of the racetrack right now entirely, so we'll see how that plays out with his situation. But we were denoted that there are 2 red lines on the outside of turn 4. That is going to be the start of the restart zone here. You can see them right there. That's the restart zone, and that's when Brandon Stokes will get this race underway. We're racing at IRP.
Good jump for Stokes over Maxwell, about a car length and a half. As you can see, everyone trying to run that very top lane and cut down a little bit on corner exit. And top 4, top 5 now, all single file. First battle going on is between Jonathan Holstein and Troy Haight for 7th.
Yeah, you can see these guys trying to get themselves into order right now, as you said, side by side going on with the 73 and the 28, as I think Brian Yazik already in the fence, and you can see what Troy Haight is trying to do. Playoff drive, you can see with the red spoiler, red windshield banner, red splitter. Oh, 18 of Mitch Brown sends it on in there. That's going to be what you have to do tonight. You try to cut down on corner exit there. I think the 73 of Holstein may have gave him an opportunity to get in there. Mitch Brown gains a spot.
Yeah, because Troy Haight and Mitch Brown both passed Holstein on the bottom, as well as Devin Serra. I wonder if he's just kind of letting them go by because they are playoff drivers, or if that bottom lane really is starting to come in.
Yeah, we'll go on board here with a driver. We'll go on board with second place Sam Maxwell. Actually, we have a battle going on. Here comes Brian Yazik, tries to send it onto the inside. He's running that lower groove. You really just can't hold the speed down there. He will fall back into line. Got to go on board here now. We'll go on board with Maxwell. That he's not in an endeavor right now. You go down into the front straightaway into corner number 1. He runs right on that seam, and then he tries to cut even lower off corner exit, so that does leave a passing lane to the outside if you're daring enough to take it. And the first caution's under the racetrack right now.
Looks like Jay Graves Jr. and
Jay Graves Jr. on his door. That is a new one.
As well as the 38 of Evan Osborne. It looks like that started with Osborne entering turn 1.
Yeah, that was a serious impact right there. Go check it one more time. Yeah, 38 got loose on his own, apparently.
Just maybe too much brake bias in the rear, maybe? He just got on the brakes and the back end stepped out.
And then does a right-hand hook into Jay Graves Jr., who, again, that truck was just teetering on the driver's door. So that is the first caution of the race, and we do have some drivers already electing to come to pit road, Evan, and it's going to take a situation where obviously tires are going to wear and you're going to want those tires, but at the same time, you have to kind of balance out how much more important is track position.
Looks like the top 16 opted for that track position. Devin Serra, Pete Baskins, Robbie Baskins, Jack Wells, and Tyler Seville all on pit road here. Be interested to see how well Devin Serra and those guys can get up through this field. I think with the top 16 staying out, I kind of think track position was the better call there.
Yeah,
only 5 laps or so on the tires.
Yeah, there's maybe 20 laps in. I may be inclined to kind of take tires over that, and that may give you a slight ability to be able to run that inside groove with those newer tires, as the guys up top maybe slip and slide maybe into the fence gives you that opportunity. But right now, Brandon Stokes, he kind of joined the series midway through, and he has had a lot of great runs, Evan. He hasn't won a race, but definitely has a fast truck, someone to watch out for in this series, and he may be able to use tonight as a big stepping stone for his ASRS stat book, really.
Yeah, and if he ends up running next season, I'm sure he is going to be a contender for that championship. He hasn't ran many races like you said, but he's always ran good in them. He generally hasn't gotten the finish he's deserved, but he's always ran good.
Yeah, again, being on the pole here at a track where track position is, I mean, probably more important here than many of the tracks. I mean, I'll throw track position here, maybe up toward Bristol, where obviously running on the top at Bristol, you need that track position. You can't afford to lose it. And, well, I mean, maybe even a road course for that matter, where just you need to stay up front at whatever cost, even if it's kind of a scary call, staying on roller tires. Sometimes that's what you have to do when it's this valuable.
And I think the top 5 at least are feeling pretty comfortable with this call that they've made, with having 11 cars behind them on older tires. That's going to take them quite a while to get up there to that top 5, even if they can.
Yeah, because the first driver who did pit is back in the 17th position right now. So, I mean, right now you don't want to be Jim Foose. Jim Foose is the first driver, well, the last driver who stayed out. But again, with these few laps we have run, I'm not expecting too much of a discrepancy in the tires on each set of drivers. But we'll see what happens as we are on the back straightaway. The lights are out on the pace car. And Brandon Stokes, remember that red line on the outside of turn number 4. That is the restart zone here with the pace car going in early. They want to define a more specific restart zone, so that is what we have tonight as they get to that point onto the racetrack. There it is, and there we are on the loud pedal. We're racing once again.
Stokes going to pull away once again, but there is a battle going on for second with Yazek all the way down on that yellow line. Maxwell going to use that outside lane to his advantage, and is going to clear him out of turn 2 as they're side by side with the gaggle behind them.
Yeah, Yazek not able to take second. He's trying, but it's not happening. But you could see Mitch Brown, he seems to have a fast truck. He's trying to move out through the field and try to get by Troy 8. What's he going to do? Is he going to dive it on in there? He is going to do so, but Alex Giesi's going to be there, not allow him to do a slide job. So the 18 is going to be stuck there to the inside, but watch out for the 26 of Alan Young. Also try to get by Troy Haight, who doesn't really have the pace on the top groove right now.
And we got a wreck again in 3 and 4. Big wreck in 3 and 4.
Yeah, we had, I think Andy Veltman may have been involved.
Yes. Devin Serra involved, championship contender.
Remember, he pitted. He put himself in a precarious position by pitting. And oh my goodness, Andy Veltman. Got to get a better view of that. But, Evan, what is your nickname?
Mr. Catchfence. Well, and I think Andy just one up me. He was in the billboard.
Yes, you can see here on the replay, Devin Serra, he dove it in there, got loose, and Andy Veltman, again, trying to pull off Spider-Man tactics there, but unfortunately could not stick the landing, so that'll be his race. But again, that was kind of similar to what we saw earlier. I think it was with Evan Osborne. Serra obviously trying to get through the field as he put himself back there, and he was just really aggressive in the braking zone, and the back end came around, and unfortunately for Veltman, he got the worst end of it.
I wonder how much damage Serra got there. He is on pit road now. It looks like he is going to lose a lap.
Yeah, he is in the pits right now, and here they come.
Now he's going to try and beat the pace car off.
He will.
It's going to be close.
He will. That's going to be
yeah, he's going to do it.
Just hardly. Remember, no fast repairs in the series, so that is not going to be able to help him out. He's going to have to get this damage fixed very incrementally. Obviously, you can't get too much fixed here at short tracks under caution conditions. Maybe you can get about 15, 20 seconds at a time before that pace car comes back around.
If Serra doesn't have engine damage, he shouldn't be too bad here. He does have quite a bit of right front damage and some rear end damage. But as long as his engine is fine, he should still be able to get a good top 10 or so out of this.
Yeah, you're not going to be obviously pushing the top speed. You're not even going to, from what I remember, we did our Xfinity race last night here, Evan. I don't even remember getting to the top of the power bandit at all. So as long as he can get to about 77,000 RPMs at the end of the straightaways, I think he's going to be fine. So we Run 16 laps and some change, and well, we haven't really gone more than about 2 or 3 laps thus far, so as the field unfortunately starts to fall to the word of attrition right now, we have, 18 drivers of the 24 that took the grid still on the track, so the field is starting to shrink, which at one point will kind of get us into a rhythm as the trucks do start to spread out, but we have to get to that phase, get these guys running a few laps, figure out who is going to have what, who is going to be the ones to watch out for tonight. Obviously we know the 0-1, we know Yazik always one to watch out for. Sam Maxwell has had many a run this season that were good, doesn't always get the results that he deserves, as we were talking about with Stokes. But Maxwell having a terrific start to the event. Let's see what happens. Evan, get us going this time.
Coming through 3 and 4 here, once again waiting for that double red line on that outside wall. That is the start of the restart zone here. And he is in it now. When is he going to fire off pretty quickly there? And once again getting a good jump over Maxwell. Yazek still inside of that 98, going down into turn 1. See if the outside lane will once again prevail. Looks like it is going to. Out of turn 2, Yazek held down there pretty good, but Maxwell is still going to clear down into 3, but Yazek fighting back.
Yeah, I think he tried diving it on in there, tried to dive it a little bit deeper in there, but even so, was not able to get the bite. I think Maxwell may have drove it in a little bit deeper to try to hold the position, so may turn into an event where we are starting to just wait for tire wear, wait for the rear tires to burn off a little bit, see if something can happen on corner exit, as we had somebody in the wall in the back straightaway. I think that was Jared Haggerty in the 6th. Remember, he is a playoff driver. Jim Foose right behind him, as they are still double file. Right ahead of Haggerty is Jared Mogard trying to get through the field. He's in the top 10 right now. He's driving to the inside of Haight. Remember, Haight has not really been that quick on the high side. Many drivers have been able to pass him down low, so Mogard will try to continue that trend.
Mogard still underneath him in 3 and 4, but now Haight is going to clear him, so now Holstein to the outside of Mogard. Mogard just barely clear, not going to be able to shut the door down into turn 1. It's Holstein in the wall a little bit there, right in front of Haggerty. Out of turn 2, still going to be single file for Mogard and Haight, but that double zero is wanting by.
Yeah, he is, and I mean, this track, it's kind of a circular progression of banking, if you will, where the inside is really flat, but it's not so much a step of banking as you'd see at a Kansas or a Homestead. It kind of is almost, I want to say the word is convex, where it gets higher and higher the higher you go on the track. So if you really can get it right up against the fence, all the way in that top seam, you can get the most banking, and if you can get it to cut off corner exit, you can really get a good run on off the corner and maybe get underneath somebody.
So here's Jared Mogard underneath that 28 of Troy Haight. Out of turn 2, but Haight is going to clear him, just using that top side to his advantage. That bottom lane just is not working quite yet. Hopefully it'll come in, but I don't know if it's going to.
And as we saw, Brian Yazik was trying to close in on Maxwell, but Maxwell's starting to pull away from him, and Maxwell, if anything, is now trying to close in on Brandon Stokes. But I mean, the question is, I mean, you can get there just fine, but what do you do when you do get there? I mean, you don't have the option of the back bumper, because, well, all you're going to do if you use the back bumper here is you're going to shove him into the wall, and then you're probably going to end up hitting him in the process, so that doesn't work. So really, Evan, the only way to pass here, get underneath him off corner exit and sail it into the next corner and hope that it sticks.
Yeah, it's like you said, it's really hard to put the front bumper to them, because they're just going to go up, hit the wall, and probably give you a lot more front end damage than you wanted. So you really just kind of either need to do a slide job like you were saying, or door him up the track and maybe try and hit him that way.
And of course, with the incident cap system in this series, that's a very dangerous approach. I mean, there is a situation where if a driver does start to cut really low, that you may be able to use that banking to the outside and maybe even get him on the outside lane. It's a difficult move to make, but it is something that you can do, and it can work, especially if that's the only option that you do have available. But again, here comes Yazik just stalking the back bumper of Maxwell, and Maxwell not in the playoffs, but someone who's very competitive. He's not going to give up this position. And then if you're Brian Yazik, I mean, you know Maxwell's doing nothing wrong, but I mean, you must be pulling your hair out.
Yeah, especially just at this track where it is so hard to pass. You can be on someone's back bumper for a while, but here comes Yazik trying to make his move on the inside. And Maxwell looks like he's going to be able to hold him off on the outside out of turn 4.
Well, I guess actually I have to clarify. If you're Brian Yazik, you're pulling your beard out because he is bald. I know. Someone was going to comment on that, so I wanted to be first. But again, to the inside, and it's too much of a risk, I think, for him to do the mega dive. If he does the mega dive, I guess as well patented as we have a car sideways
in turn 4. Jason Stewart
hits Jared Mogard.
Except they're going to save. No, Jim Foose around to the inside.
And that is on. It did register a caution flag. So we'll go back onto the replay and see what happened to Jason. Troy Hates sent it on in there and maybe sent it just a little bit too far.
Yeah, Troy Haight just went into that corner and slid all the way up the track and into the left rear quarter panel of Stewart.
Yeah, he dove it on in there, I think, to try to clear Mogard, but had just enough momentum that he still was able to get to Stewart. He actually straightens Stewart out, as did Mogard, but then Haggerty, oh my God, Jim Foose with an aerial attack right there. Just flew over. We got to get that one from an onboard perspective.
We've seen a lot of cars get airborne here tonight, and it's kind of weird. I really didn't expect to see too many, or really I didn't expect to see any coming into this race.
Yeah, you don't expect at these slowest speeds, but we are going to step aside as pit stops underway. I'm going to step aside briefly as I do want to get something fixed at the technical side, so we'll be right back for the restart. Please stay with us. And we're back after a very quick break. With producer knowledge, I made a fancy camera for this track, and then I forgot to save it, so it got deleted, so now you guys don't get to see the fancy camera I made. Apologies, but you didn't miss much in the pit road other than Travis Wright gaining some spots into third, Mitch Brown gaining some spots, Brian Yazik back to fifth. He was in third prior, so that is going to make his endeavor even worse. Remember, he was going for second, but not able to do so. So now let's put Travis Wright and Mitch Brown. Mitch Brown's going to have that really good position on the outside. He may be able to take advantage and pass the 10 car if he can time everything appropriately. But as we are on lap number 34, already down to 14 drivers on the lead lap. Jason Stewart in the pits trying to stay on the lead lap. Jim Foose has gone one lap down. I believe Robbie Baskins in the 46 has taken it behind the wall already.
Yeah, we've had a few drivers take it behind the wall. Evan Osborne, Andy Veltman, Jack Wells, Jay Graves Jr., and Jeremy Banning all behind the wall and done for the night.
Yep, so that leaves the approximately, give or take, I have to wait for the scoring to update, approximately 15 drivers on the track. So attrition definitely at full something right now.
Full something.
It's at full something right now because it's definitely taking its toll on the field here. Already about a third of the field has been wiped out, but we're going to try a restart yet again. Stokes has nailed it perfectly every single time, so he'll try to keep that streak going. Maxwell maybe going to try to get a little bit better jump, try to stay door to door with him entering one. That may give him the opportunity to take the lead, but watch out for Brown and Wright in the second row as we wait for the restart zone and get this underway once again. Green flag back in the air. Stokes with the jump yet again. And
Maxwell is going to clear the 10 of Travis Wright for second. Now Mitch Brown trying to get by that 10-4 third out of turn number 2. Still going to be side by side down the backstretch, but Mitch Brown is going to clear him now. It's Brian Yazik trying to come with.
Yeah, Yazik nearly lost that position, but he really sailed it on in there, and Brown able to make that inside work, does stay in front of Yazik, leaving him in the 5th spot as we have Jared Mogard who's picking some spots off here. He is right behind Brian Yazik in the 7th position. Underneath Alex Giese, right behind him is Jonathan Holstein. So Mogard trying to use that bottom, but we know how hard that is.
It sounds like these drivers are shifting out here, Corey. At least Mogard, I hear him going down into the 3rd gear as he's trying to do a slide job on Giese.
He is.
And I wonder if that's hurting his rear tires more than other drivers.
Yeah, we have the telemetry up right now as he sails it on in there, and I think that's just the only way he can get the bottom to even remotely work, is to light up the rear tires a little bit, try to get it to turn on them, as he does do a major slide job and clear Giese, and Brian Yazik able to clear Travis Wright for 4th.
Now Mogard are going to try and get by that number 10 of Travis Wright. Yeah, right to his back bumper in 3 and 4. We'll see if he goes for the dive in 1 and 2.
He got right he got right to his back bumper.
Yeah.
Yeah. Pun. Chuckle? No. All right. So Mogard was able to.
Took me a second to get that one.
Really? Oh wow. Mogard was able, as we process horrible jokes, Mogard was able to clear Travis Wright, get into the top 5, and well, up front we'll skip ahead a little bit, and it's about a 1/4 of a second separating Stokes and Maxwell. Mitch Brown doing a pretty good job to stay in touch with these guys, about a 1/2 second back.
I'm trying to see if anyone else is shifting. I know Mogard is. We'll see here. I'm listening to Yazik now.
Go on board with
And Mogard is the only one that is shifting.
Is he shifting regularly or only while he was making those passes?
He's doing it even though there's no one in front of him. At least he did it the last lap. Yeah, he is still shifting.
Mitch Brown is staying in 4th. We'll go on board with Sam Maxwell. Maxwell's in 4th. And we'll scroll up to our leader. And as we said, we'll try to find Jared Mogard, who has...
And Mogard, he did downshift there in 1 and 2 and fell from 5th back to 9th. Just right as he went down to 3rd, the back end broke loose.
Yeah, remember he was just out. I think he was actually in the top 5 or very close to getting there, but lost those spots. He kept it in 4th that time by. I think it's a tactic that may work on new tires, but as those tires wear, I just think it's way too risky, way too temperamental to try to nail those RPMs without getting too much wheel spin.
Yeah, he's standing in 4th now after that slide through 1 and 2. Doesn't want to risk it again.
Alright, so the lap's ticking away here, and battle for the lead is in close proximity. Not quite sure if I'd say it's a battle quite yet. We haven't seen Maxwell been able to step out and try to make a move, but here comes Mitch Brown closing in on the party, and Brian Yazik as well started to close in. Here comes Brown with a look to the inside, but is he going to be able to do anything with that all the way down there on the flat? Maxwell will use that momentum off of 2, and Brown's going to have to watch out because Brian Yazik may fill in the gap on him one of these times.
Pretty much everyone all the way back to 8th position was faster than Stokes and Yazik in the wall out of turn 2. He's already gotten that wall a few times here, and that was a bit harder of an impact than he's had.
And we'll go on
Let's see if that hurts the handle in that 55 Toyota.
Yeah, go on instant replay with him. See, he's trying his hardest to run as high as he can on corner entry, get that cut, that straight run off of the corner. And just sometimes when you're that close to another driver, you'd lose a little bit of your situational, your awareness, your depth perception, and you really can't see where you are. Sometimes it is easy to misjudge where the wall is. It was really close to Mitch Brown. That may have had a little something to do with it.
Yeah, a lot of times all you can see is the back bumper of the vehicle in front of you, and you can't see that outside wall, and You just slide up a little bit too much and tag it.
Yeah, but he does seem to be chugging along just fine. Top four kind of in their own breakaway, almost draft style. They are so close to each other, running identical lines, right up against the fence, cutting down low on corner exit. And then we go back about 2 seconds. We find Travis Wright, who has about an 0.8 of a second gap over Alex Giese, who has about a 1.25 seconds lead over Jared Mogard. And then we have a battle on track. Robbie Baskins is just ahead of Pete Baskins and Jonathan Holstein. Jonathan Holstein trying to hold off Tim Knott, who's looking to the outside. Both of them running very low lines off corner number 2. And we have Troy Haight. Remember, he was up front earlier, but now back in 12th. Jason Stewart, he was in that last caution with some repairs. He's running in 13th. Devin Serra was a part of a couple incidents thus far in 14th. And then that's the last car on the lead lap. And then we have Jim Foose running in 15th by himself, 1 lap down. And Tyler Seville is just chugging some laps right now. He is 23 laps off the pace, but still chugging in 18th.
Stokes is starting to pull away a little bit here. Up to about a 0.3 of a second gap, and as soon as I say that, Maxwell starts closing in again.
Yeah, we'll pull up the lap tracker here and see who is the fastest of the top 10 as they go across the stripes. Stokes was actually the slowest of the top 5 by a good margin that time. 22.164 for Maxwell is the fastest lap. Actually, I'll take that back. Jared Mogard, fastest in the top 10 with a 1.56, but he is significantly off of the leaders right now in terms of interval, so not anything to watch too heavily at the moment.
So with these top 4 staying so close, is that because their speed is just so close, or is Stokes kind of holding the rest of them up a little bit, you think?
Well, Evan, I'm going to turn that right back around to you. Yesterday, we ran an AEA race, American Esports Association Outlaw Challenger Xfinity race here, which is run on Mondays, and I led the majority of the race. My colleague Evan was right behind me, but I almost felt like I was holding you up. At the same time, you were never able to make any kind of pass attempt on me.
Yeah, you were definitely holding me up for a lot of that race, so that could be what the issue is here. All 3 of these guys behind Stokes are faster than him, but they just cannot find a way to get by him.
Right
As
to
for
the
a couple
bumper.
for a couple laps there, it looks like Stokes started to pull away, but Maxwell turned it back on and got right back up to his back bumper.
And it's not even so much. It's this is where it's a little different.
And there he gets to that side. But Stokes got a better run off the corner.
And it's not even, and this is the weird part of just how this track races, is that it's not even like Maxwell has a lot of failed attempts. He knows, he's smart enough to know that I can't really attempt to pass, or I'm going to have a chance to lose spots if it doesn't go the way I want it to. So really, guys, you're not even firing shots. Everyone kind of is just riding around waiting for something to happen if it does.
Did Stokes just turn the afterburners on? He picked up over a 1/10 than what he was running before and is now pulling away.
I mean, one thing, and this is just kind of a generic short track thing, even covers the dirt side of things, is once you get into a rhythm, you can start clicking them off, and that's when you start pulling away. It's Brian Yazik with a power move to the inside.
Trying to get by Mitch Brown, but I don't think it's going to be able to here to turn 2. He is down on the inside, and Brown is going to clear him using that top lane.
And he sent it on in there, but there's just any more. If he sent it any harder in there, he would have to use the wall as a turning aid there, and that is A, not permissed, and B, very risky for your vehicle. So he's trying to maybe hold that, as I said, hold that high side, use that banking, trying to get a momentum. Well, surge down the back straight of it, not able to do so. He loses a couple car lengths, truck lengths rather, and we'll have to try to get him back as we do close in on the halfway point.
Yeah, Stokes picked up time there for a while, and now he's slowed right back down, and Maxwell fell off for a little bit. Now he's right back to where he was before. Is that just maybe letting his tires cool down a little bit, then going back at it again, or?
I think personally, as I just said, is it kind of just goes to getting a rhythm. He did something that he hasn't done. He took those surges to the inside, and it threw him off his rhythm, threw him off his game, and now he just kind of has to get back to what he's doing and try to come up with a new tactic to at least to attempt to make a pass. And this is going to officially be halfway, so if it does start raining, the race will be completed, but obviously that is not going to happen. But something, Evan, that may happen is, I mean, they've run here, we'll pull up the graphic for the fans at home, they've currently run about 32-ish laps on this run. We have 90 to run this race out, and there's a good chance we're gonna run a long green flag stretch, so I'm assuming we're gonna run this all the way out on this current tire and fuel run.
I would think that they'd be able to make it on fuel from here. It's going to be kind of close, but I think they should be able to make it on fuel.
Yeah, I mean, usually it will take a 1 mile track like a Dover, for example. You can go about 80 laps or so. Obviously running a lot faster, but with these slow speeds on a short track, I would think that 100 laps is doable, although on the tire side of it, it's definitely not going to be ideal.
Yeah, you don't want to run out there for 100 laps, but you can on fuel. You want tires about 20 laps ago.
Because you're going to be, you will lose, I mean, almost a guaranteed. And as we can see here, it's about a 38 to 41 second endeavor on pit lane.
So it's about a lap and 3/4.
Well, let's round it up. Say you're going to lose just about 2 laps, maybe 1 3/4 if you're lucky. But you're going to lose 2 laps. We've already dropped, actually not even already, we've only dropped about 0.7 of a second. So I really don't think tires, they may fall off to maybe 1.5 seconds max late in the run. But I don't think the tires are going to give you what you need to eat up that huge deficit that you'd be digging for yourself. So I think these guys are going to have to make this work, and it may be easier to make passes late at the extreme end of this run as everyone is struggling for grip.
Yeah, Stokes just got a little bit loose down into turn 1. The back end came out a little bit there. He almost got up into the wall but managed to keep it off, but he did lose a little bit of time there. And they're going to have a lap truck of Tyler Seville coming up on them pretty soon. But they're going to be coming up on him.
Yeah, remember, Seville is 23 laps down. He is just chugging these laps off. But Evan, I am rather impressed, as we've kind of alluded to a couple times, with these top 4. They are really, I expected maybe one of them to drop off, one of them to pull ahead, but they really are just running. I mean, it does look like Stokes maybe pulling away just a little bit, but they are running pretty much nose to tail still.
Jared Milgaard is kind of starting to get back up into the picture a little bit. He's pretty close to Travis Wright, and he has been running a little bit quicker than all of the top 5. And Milgaard is back to shifting, it sounds like.
And we'll pull up on the battle tracker between 5th and 6th, and Wright with a 22.35. 22.37 for Milgaard, so not as good of a lap.
A bit slower that lap.
But 3/4 of a second separating them. That interval is actually seeming to grow a little bit, and you did kind of make me want to go on board once again with Milgaard and see if maybe that's shifting. I think he's just being experimental now, and yep, there he is in 3rd gear. And I think there's just so much going on in that truck on these older tires that I just don't really think that it's going to work this late in a run, but you have to try something if you are Milgaard in this situation.
Maxwell's kind of cut back up to the back bumper of Brandon Stokes. Only about 1/10 off of him.
Interesting how it plays out, because everybody in unison has caught Stokes at the same time. As we said, maybe Stokes is slowing these guys up a little bit, but as soon as Maxwell closes in, everybody just kind of congas along and catches him, and all 4 of them pretty much just nose to tail still 75 laps into this race.
And now Stokes is starting to pull away a little bit again, so just kind of back and forth on who is faster. Whoever nails their line on the lap will be a little bit quicker, and just keeps going back and forth on who does that.
Yeah, last time
now
by,
up to 3.5 tenths.
Yeah, last time by, Stokes was fastest by a couple hundredths. Yazik was actually right on pace with Stokes and Maxwell. Brown, not as good of a lap, but all these are separated within just mere hundredths of a second. Nobody is kind of in their own ball game right now, but again, can we kind of do a little of an in-depth through the field right now as we haven't cut me off if anything does go on up front as we go through. But we have Brandon Stokes leading this race. He's led effectively every single lap of this race from what the graphic says, so he's trying to pitch a perfect ball game now, and he's doing a pretty good job of it. Sam Maxwell in second, our highest playoff driver, Mitch Brown, running in third. Brian Yazik running in fourth, tail end of this train. And then we go back, as we said, to Travis Wright, who has lost some of his lead that he had on Jared Mogard, who is running in sixth. We will go back nearly 3 seconds to Alex Giese, who is in the 7th spot, and Robbie Baskins is a couple tenths of a second as Giese into the fence, got loose on entry, and that will flip-flop those positions. Now Robbie Baskins in 7th, Giese will drop back to 8th. Pete Baskins is running in 9th, kind of in his own bubble right now. He has 7 tenths in front of him, and about 1¼ seconds back to Troy Haight, who is rounding out our top 10 right now. Tim Knott just behind him in 11th spot. Jonathan Holstein running in 12th, about 1.5 seconds behind Knott, and about 14 seconds off the lead, so a little over half a lap behind. Jason Stewart with a damaged vehicle is chugging along in the 13th spot. Playoff driver again. As I know, I missed a couple of them in the making there, but Devin Serra in 14th, trying to close in on Jim Foose. Jim Foose is off the lead lap, however, he is the only truck 1 lap down. Just waiting for that free pass opportunity, and then after that, we just have Tyler Seville on the track, who is 24 laps down. That is our Through the Field, sponsored by insert your company here. You can sponsor the Through the Field. But again, up front, it does look like Mitch Brown is ready and raring to try to get by Sam Maxwell, but the question is, how does he do it?
Well, they're going to have some lap traffic coming up here. Devin Serra in that 20. And Serra's going to try as hard as to stay on the lead lap here. In case there does end up being a caution, he wants to stay on the lead lap so he gets to pit with everyone else. I mean, he gets to gain a few spots, so I expect to see him put up at least a little bit of a fight.
I would as well, and he does have the benefit of being the free pass, as we said, if and when he does go 1 lap down, and there won't be, I mean, in this situation where there's not many other drivers lap down, only Jim Foose, there won't be much of a separation in between him and the lead lap drivers. Remember, usually lucky dog drivers are at the tail end of the field, all the 1 lap down drivers are ahead of him, and then you get to lead lap drivers. That challenge really isn't present tonight, so whether he goes a lap down or not, as long as he stays ahead of Foose, he should still be in a pretty good situation. Obviously, if you're Jim Foose, you want to make sure that you are the free pass car for as long as possible, but the only wreck that I potentially see is the top 4 right now, and as good as these drivers are, I really don't expect them to be an incident. Maybe some driver in the back may have some issue in self-spin, but this is not really showing a caution vibe right now.
Yeah, and only 39 laps to go here, as Stokes has now caught up to the back bumper of the 20 of Serra, who looks like is giving him the high lane. Devin just gonna let him go by.
Yeah, he's gonna do the gentleman thing and just stay out of the way, and maybe knows that I'm the free pass truck for quite some time, so not much of a reason to fight it at the moment. You guys go and have your race, but Evan, let's just take a perspective of each of these drivers right down the top 4. We'll start with Brian Yazik. You probably have a 2nd place truck. We don't really know what, if he does have a winning truck. He hasn't been able to air it out in clean air and get a good representation of his speed. What are you thinking now? What are you planning? What are you conjuring if you're Brian Yazik right now?
Well, there really isn't much you can do as Brian Yazik right now, because it's so hard to pass, and you can't do a slide job because of how close Sam Maxwell is to Mitch Brown. You can't slide up in front of Brown. There's not a big enough of a gap. So there really isn't much he can do until one of the guys in front of him makes a mistake. So Brian Yazik, if you're Yazik right now, you just need to be patient and wait for either a caution or one of those guys in front of you to make a mistake, because it's going to be pretty much impossible to pass.
So we'll go up one further. You're Mitch Brown. You do have Yazik on your tail. You know you're faster than Maxwell. You can't get by. If you're him, I mean, you try to pass Maxwell to the inside, you're going to have Yazik get by you, but at the same time, you need to make a move if you're going to go for the win.
Yeah, I think Mitch Brown is in even a little bit tougher of a position than Yazik, because Yazik, he can make a move and he's not going to lose a position. Mitch Brown, if he tries to make a move on Maxwell and it doesn't work out, and that's going to allow Yazik to most likely get to the outside of that 18 and get by us. Here comes Yazik trying to make a move on Mitch Brown, using that inside lane, and it's not going to work.
And as you said, he took a stab at it, but no real loss. Maybe a truck length that he'll probably get back. So now we go up one further to Sam Maxwell, who he's challenged Stokes a couple times tonight, but it seems as though Stokes is starting to pull away, and as he gets a good run through 1 and 2 there and takes a little bit of that gap out, but it doesn't seem like he has a winning truck or a truck to challenge for the win. But maybe he is right on par, if not a little bit slower than Mitch Brown.
Maxwell is probably in the best position to pass Stokes, because if he can get close enough to maybe just driving in a little bit deeper into the corner and maybe do a bit of a slide job and try and clear him, that would work for Maxwell, because there's not a car in front of Stokes close enough that he wouldn't have room to slide up in front of him.
And he can go into, I think as you kids call it these days, full send mode, because he doesn't have to worry about what's in front of him.
But he still has to worry about what's behind him with Mitch Brown and Brian Yazik. If he makes a move and it doesn't work, he could easily lose 2 spots.
And the easy way to finish this little segment up is, if you're Brandon Stokes now, your biggest thing is don't
block the high lane.
Block the high lane and don't screw up, because you have the track right now is your best friend, other than not hitting the fence, as he does have Jim Foose, who is 1 lap down now. This will put him 2 laps down. Remember, Foose had a little acrobatic endeavor on the front straightaway. Counting for how many times I say endeavor in a broadcast.
Looks like Foose isn't going to let him go by easily, and this could end up helping out some of those guys behind Stokes.
Yeah, because if he has to use the bottom, which it appears he's going to have to, you can kind of play, take a basketball perspective to it, try to use a pick and roll here. If you're Sam Maxwell, try to catch Stokes in a bad position and try to take advantage of it. He's doing that right now. He's going to be behind Jim Foose, who's slower, but he's to the outside. So now Maxwell's going to get boxed in by Foose. And now here comes Brian Yazik. He sees this as an opportunity. He's to the inside of Mitch Brown.
Going down into turn 3, and they're 2x2 at the top 4 positions. Now Maxwell getting held up by Jim Foose. Brandon Stokes down on the inside. Mitch Brown to his outside now. Maxwell is clear. Going to go down to the inside of Foose. Going to try and slide up in front of him. Not going to be clear. So now will anyone be able to get to Maxwell's outside?
It's Maxwell's race right now. Because Foose, he couldn't hold on side by side anymore. Here comes Stokes with the power dive. He clears the 42. And now if you're Brandon Stokes, you are furious now. You are going for it.
Yeah, you are going to be trying to get that lead back in these next 25 laps. Because you're probably not going to be super happy with Jim Foose right now. He didn't do anything wrong. He just didn't let him go by. So Jim did nothing wrong there.
It's just, as we said, it's using the track to what it is. He wanted to keep that 1 lap down position. He ran the groove, gave the leaders the inside. Leaders don't want the inside, and Maxwell was able to pounce on the opportunity. And now what's Jason Stewart going to do? Is Stewart going to play the same kind of ball game? Because it may just be karma for Stokes to be able to pass Maxwell the same way Maxwell passed him.
It looks like Stewart is going to stay up in that high lane. Stewart is trying to stay in the lead lap here, and he is going to race Maxwell. Here through 1 and 2, this could be the opportunity for Stokes that he needs. Maxwell had a good run through 1 and 2, and Stewart got the wall there. He's going to allow Stokes to get by him, and now taking a look to the inside of Maxwell.
Yeah, he has a little bit of a look, but that wasn't as good of an opportunity as he may have scripted in his head there. As Stewart was not able to hold that position, but now he is really close, and Ryan Yazik again looks to the inside to no avail. But 0-1, I think he's faster. I'm not quite sure because he was pulling away as he's all the way down there to the apron trying to get some kind of bite. So as we do go down here with 20 laps to go, hard into the fence there was Stokes. Both of these,
as well as Maxwell. Both of them really got the ball.
Both of these drivers up front, not playoff drivers, Brown and
Caution.
Oh my goodness. Alex Giese on the front straightaway, and well, that changes everything.
Looks like Giese just got a bit loose out of 4 and it just came around on him.
Racing with the 46 of Robbie Baskins. He did a slide job. He tried sliding job. He tried
sliding job.
He tried sliding job, and it didn't work out for him. Maybe he's not going to want to try that again. But everyone comes down pit road, and this is going to be a situation of if you're not the leader, you want to be on the outside. That's all it is.
Yeah, for sure.
The front row is fine because the leader is going to get the jump. The outside line is going to be on the outside line. You don't want to be third. That's basically the challenge here. Do not be in third exiting the pits. Ryan Yazik kind of missed his stall a little bit. I mean, he was already in fourth anyway, so I don't think that'll mean too much for him. Can't expect after that long of a run that we have any...
Yazik, did he take 2?
No, wait, did he? He did. Jonathan Holstein did stay on the track. I don't know if he's going to stay up there.
So he's coming down here. And
he took 2 tires. We know how important track position is. I mean, but that's 75 some odd laps on those left sides. But if he can run even mediocre on the top, not get loose, it's very likely going to be a winning call. I mean, at some tracks I would severely question it, but just given how near impossible it is to pass here, it could work. He wants us as this is a ticket to Homestead right now for Brian Yazik. He will not have to deal with the next 2 tracks on the schedule being ISM Raceway and Texas Motor Speedway. Give him a free pass, 2 weeks to be able to just get ready and prepare himself for a night at Homestead. But he's going to have 18, well actually about 17 laps before that is a possibility.
I don't know how this is going to work for Yazik here. Yeah, he's going to be in the lead, which we've seen how hard it is to pass, but those 75 lap old left sides, I don't know how that's going to be for him.
Yeah, and I mean, I'm fairly confident when I say this that he has no idea how this is going to work out for him either. It's just kind of one of those things where he didn't want to run 4th or even 3rd. He wanted to at least know that he took a stab at it, and remember that you go into the point standings where everybody, as I recall, yes, everybody's starting off on an even ball game right now. Everybody has 3,000 points in this round, so no playoff points, no anything that carries over. It is kind of a risk. He knew he had a 4th place nearly locked up, but if you can get that free pass, we know how important it is. So it's gonna be sick.
Corey, you said he slid through his stall, didn't you?
It did look like it. I wonder if that may have done it.
Because if he did slide through his stall, he could have ended up leaving pit road in 7th or 8th.
So maybe, again, we're just going to have to find out together how it's going to work, and how is he going to get off the line? How is he going to get on a restart? Is he going to get wheel spin? Is he going to get sideways? What's going to happen? 16 laps of short track racing to end tonight. Here we come into the restart zone. And there it is, green flag in the air. Yazik up to speed quite well. Now, how is this going to work?
Going down into turn 1, Yazik on those 2 tires, running pretty slow here. And contact, Yazik's going to go around.
Off the bumper of Stokes, and that's going to be catastrophic damage, and Troy Haight, another playoff driver involved. Under caution, oh my goodness.
Looks like only about 6 cars made it through that wreck with no damage.
Involved. And just, as I just said, remember the playoff implications. There are no playoff buffer points. You can see Stokes he sailed it on in there on the bottom of the racetrack. I think Stokes just didn't account for how slow Yazik was going to be on those old tires, and head-on collision with, I believe it was Troy Haight.
Yazik, it looks like it's going to be done for this race. He's already in pit road.
And Stokes will, I'm not sure if it's a penalty, a voluntary penalty for a cause of caution or whatnot, but he is down pit road right now. It may be for that cause. I don't know if you or Joe has that behind the scenes, but Maxwell will take over the lead for the time being. Evan, did you get a pit call there from us on what happened to Brandon?
It looks like, I guess he just came down pit road. I guess he just wanted to go ahead and drop to the rear. He knew he would get an EOL for that.
So, again, this is, I mean, I don't know how this is going to shake out. Obviously, we had one playoff driver, Jordan Ashland. He was not here, so that almost makes it a round of 7, because I don't think that he's going to be able to recover from that. But if you're Brian Yazik now, who's out of the race, he's going to fall to most likely 15th, 16th position probably. So do you think, Evan, is it a must-win for him on the next 2 races, or if he just comes in with his normal top 5s on a more, as we say, normal tracks, that he should be fine?
I'm not going to say it's a must-win yet, but it very well could be. It's kind of hard to say he's in a must-win situation, because with these next 2 races being at Texas and ISM, a lot can happen at ISM. It's a 1 mile, it's a short track, it has a lot of short track racing, a lot can happen there. So I'm not going to say he's in a must-win yet, but, you know, a win definitely would help him.
Yeah, we have Mitch Brown, who this could lock him into Homestead right now. He's on the outside. If he can time this and he get a better start than Maxwell, even get just the slightest position on him in turn 1, this could very easily go to Brown and get that free pass into Homestead. You have Travis Wright in 4th, and then you have Jared Bogart right behind Maxwell. He also wants that free pass into Homestead, playoff driver. And in all honesty, I mean, we go back to Devin Serra. We know the problems he had very early in the race, heavy damage on that machine. He's a playoff driver. And then we have Jared Haggerty, who is 78 laps down, but he's still chugging in 17th. I don't think he won't get any higher than that. Troy Haight running those 5 laps down. I don't know. I don't think Haight's going to get back on the track after that damage he had. So playoff drivers not having the best of nights, but here we go. It's going to be a 10-lap dash here at IRP as we are on the back straightaway here. And can Maxwell pull it off and get a win on the season? His 2nd win. Can Mitch Brown, can Jared Mogard get the trip to Homestead? Can Travis Wright pull out a surprise? What's going to happen here tonight? We head to the restart zone yet again for a 10-lap shootout. Maxwell waits for the restart zone, and there it is, green flag racing. He gets the jump he needs.
They're going to be side by side for 2nd down into turn 1. Jared Mogard on the inside of Brown. Mogard almost clear, but Brown is fighting back on the outside. But out of turn 2, they're still going to be side by side with Mogard with a slight advantage down into 3.
He's going to send it.
Almost clear, but not quite able to clear him is Jared Mogard out of turn 2, and this is exactly what Maxwell wants to see.
Yeah, half-second lead already. I mean, if you're Mitch Brown, your lap times really aren't sacrificed at all, as Mogard is trying so hard, and there it is, some contact, but he is able to clear Mogard for 2nd with, it's going to be 8 laps to go. Can he cut through about a half-second gap?
He definitely can do it, but I don't know if he will be able to. It's definitely possible.
We'll have to pull up the battle tracker momentarily and try to see what the speed difference is between these 2 drivers. Pretty much the iRacing cutoff lap is pretty much 6 laps to go given the no one-lap shootout policy in the series. So pretty much a caution would have to happen this lap to have any chance of a restart. I don't think even that would happen. So last time by, it was almost a 10th faster for Mogard. But he's going to have to keep doing that and then find a way to pass, because then we know how challenging that's going to be.
Mogard is gaining a lot of time on him now, down to only 0.3 of a second. He was a 10th and a half quicker last time by.
Look at him sailing to 1 and 2.
He got right to his back bumper through 1 and 2, losing some time on the exit now.
Not that much, though. Not that much at all.
He's within a range where he could send it and get the lead.
Series sponsor Sam Maxwell going for his second win. Jared Mogart looking to punch his ticket into Homestead. 5 laps to go. He looks to the inside. Little bit of contact to the left rear. Nothing doing. Maxwell in that higher groove. Can he get back in line? Can Mitch Brown fill in the gap up top? He's going to send it.
He's going to clear him. Going to slide up in front of him. Maxwell with the crossover down over to the inside out of turn 4. They're going to be side by side at the start finish. Mogart's going to get it.
No.
Going down into 1.
He's going to set it in the
Mogart's in the wall.
Can Maxwell clear him? Mitch Brown to the inside. What's Mitch Brown do right now? We're coming to 3 laps to go at IRP.
Mogart's still on that outside. Mitch Brown going to try and go 3 wide here. Not going to be able to. Sam Maxwell with the advantage at the stripe down into turn 1.
Maxwell needs to clear him. He needs to shut the door, and he's going to be able to do it. Mitch Brown to the inside of Mogart.
Mogart going to try and get to the inside of Maxwell once again here in 3 and 4. I think he's going to get there.
Mitch Brown
not
trying to get to
clear him.
Mitch Brown needs to get wound up to try to get to the top of Mogart to try to get that. Mogart's going to shut the door. It's 2 laps to go. A little over a mile of racing here in Claremont, Indiana. Who is going to get the win? Is it going to be Maxwell? Is it going to be a playoff driver? Is there going to be a huge wreck? Can Travis Wright pull it off here tonight? We're coming to the white flag lap.
Coming out of turn 4. White flag in the air. I don't know if Mogart's close enough.
Yeah, I don't think he's in send-it range, but he's going to get right to the back bumper, and he's going to throw everything but the kitchen sink at it if he feels it's going to work. Here we come into corner number 3 for the final time. He's going to send it. Oh, he's going to send it. He's going to send it. Not going to quite make it. He went for it. Can Brown take second? No, he will not, but Sam Maxwell is going to win at IRP.
Jared Mogart going to come home in second, and Mitch Brown in third.
Well,
Mogart definitely tried.
We saw, I mean, in all honesty, we kind of saw a snoozer of a race for about 80 laps, but that was some phenomenal racing up front. They were pulling some extreme slide jobs, extreme dives on, but nobody...
And it was clean.
It was clean. They didn't wreck each other. That's what you want to see here on a short track. Great racing. So before we start the post-race show, let's get you the final rundown here tonight from Lucas Oil Raceway. I've been calling it IRP. It's going to be IRP, but formerly Lucas Oil Raceway. With your victory here tonight in absolutely thrilling fashion, Sam Maxwell leading 23 laps. Jared Mogart led 1 single one. Will have to settle for second. Mitch Brown in third. Travis Wright in fourth. And Jonathan Holstein running at the top 5. Brandon Stokes, Jason Stewart, Devin Serra, Tim Knott, and Robbie Baskins, your top 10.
And Jim Foose coming home in the 11th position. Alex Giese in 12th. Troy Haight in 13th. Brian Yazik in 14th after getting caught up in that late race accident. Pete Baskins in 15th. And then Tyler Seville, Garrett Haggerty, Alan Young, Jeremy Banning, and Andy Veltman running at the top 20.
And then rounding out your field here tonight, Jack Wells in 21st. Evan Osborne in 22nd. Jay Graves Jr. in 23rd. And Jordan Harnish, the final truck to start the race. So we will wait for a brief moment for these guys to catch their breath and get ready for a post-race interview with us. So stay with us. We'll be right back with you.
I remember a couple years into my tenure at Hendrick Motorsports, I was asked to go fill in at a road course test at Road Atlanta for Jimmy Johnson. He had tested the first day and couldn't test the second day. And I was nervous. I'm testing for Jimmy Johnson, 7-time champion. Man, I better be ready. You know, Chad Knaus and all those guys, they expect perfection. So I spent hours racing on iRacing at Road Atlanta. And when I showed up, I was right on top of Jimmy's times from the day before, and they didn't know how. They couldn't believe, like, you've been here before? And I was like, never seen it. But I went online and raced online on iRacing, and it literally was like deja vu when I got out on the actual track and tested.
Did you know that, I was going to jump in real quick, the simulator, did you know, like, when you got out there, hey, it's going to be this, or as you're driving, you're like, wow, this really is the same?
It's so similar. It's visually so similar. And the other thing, too, that helps is all the, you can basically, the iRacing software and some of the simulators for the manufacturers are so technical and realistic that they can create the perfect shift.
And we're back here, PTRTV on LSRTV, after an absolutely thrilling finish here from Lucas Oil Raceway, where we saw Sam Maxwell take the checkered flag here tonight in the Fred's Indiana 125 for the, again, the Sam Maxwell Customs Truck Series. So without further ado, let's get the post-race show started. I think Evan has caught up with third place finisher of Mitch Brown.
Well, Mitch, you started out the second race of the playoffs with a third place finish here in IRP. What was the race like for you?
To tell you the truth, it was stressful. Kind of just sitting and biding my time, just waiting to hoping one of those guys hit the wall and kind of make a move. But those guys up front were on par, and they really didn't make a lot of mistakes. So I just kind of sat and waited till the end of the race to try to make my move. But no, it was very stressful. But I'm glad we came out here with a top 3 finish.
Yeah, you ran in third for about 75 laps there, just behind Maxwell and Stokes. Did you have much of a plan if it did go green from there? Like, what were you going to do if it came down to 5 to go and you were still there in third?
Well, I just had to, hopefully, just try to keep the pressure on Maxwell, maybe force him into a mistake, and see if I can get a slide job attempted successfully. But if that wasn't the case, just try to get as maximum points as much as I can for the rest of the round.
Yeah, like you said, the rest of the round, good start so far here at IRP. And how do you feel going into Texas and ISM here in the next 2 weeks?
I feel pretty good going to Texas. Phoenix is not one of my best tracks, but if we can just try to get as max points each and every race, and hopefully the cards will fall away, and hopefully we'll be in the top 4 for Homestead.
All right. Well, is there anyone you would like to thank or shout out to after your third place finish?
Got to thank all my teammates, Tim, Jason, and Jared. Tim and Jason had both good runs tonight. Jared unfortunately got wrecked, but just want to thank everyone on my team. They're very supportive, and we all kind of work together and kind of help each other out during the race. And just want to thank you guys for putting on a great broadcast each and every week. And hopefully these next 3 races are shall I say, prime time worthy for the championship run going to Homestead.
All right. Well, thanks for talking with us, and good luck as you go and try and get you a championship.
All right. Thanks, guys.
And now Corey has caught up with second place finisher Jared Mogard.
I do want to say to Mitch, that was a pun that was horrible enough to be high quality PTRTV quality puns. So good job on that. But back off of that to second place Jared Mogard. All right, Jared, I mean, you threw everything but the kitchen sink, and we knew how much this win would have meant to you having the free pass to Homestead, but you have fought a really hard race, some stuff going on in the back of the pack, but you got up there and you raced Sam as clean as you could, and I know how hard it was to pass here tonight.
Yeah, I don't know. I didn't, the way the setup was, you had to, while downshift, you can make it work, and we got up there, the last yellow helped, and then the deal with Yazik and the only one that was unfortunate for Yazik there, but put us in a good position there at the end, and it was a fun battle. I got by Sam, and then I decided it'd be a good idea to go kill the wall and that allowed him to get back underneath us, and he ended up getting us. So we had it, and decided it'd be a good idea to go kill the wall instead.
Yeah, I mean, obviously the way this track races, you're right up against the fence. I mean, you have to kind of do those crazy dive bomb moves. I mean, did you kind of practice that? It really seemed like you did it a couple times, and you did a really good job. Even if you couldn't clear them, you were able to stay off and avoid contact. Was that something that you had to practice, just knowing how difficult it is to pass here?
Truthfully, no. I really didn't think it was going to be like that, but it was. And running Kansas last week and all the official stuff, I had plenty of practice and surprisingly got pretty good at it, so I felt comfortable doing it. And yeah, this track is one of them where it's hard to pull a slide job, and you have to really know what you're doing, or not know what you're doing, but be aware, because it's really hard to clear them. So try not to push the truck up, because you got them guys that they like to diamond the corner, kind of start up top and come down on the exit. So just being aware and managing that, and not making contact and wrecking a bunch of trucks that way.
Yeah. So and one more question, man. As you were talking about issues with Brian Yazdick and a couple of the playoff drivers, where you have a second, not quite the lock-in automatically, but heading into ISM in Texas, you must feel like you're in a pretty good spot, especially seeing what's been going on with your competitors.
Yeah, I think we're coming out of here with the point lead, so that's pretty good. They had trouble. I really felt that this was a track we could have got the win and got got the Homestead easily that way. But Phoenix is a good track for us, and Texas you can move around too, so it should be pretty good. So we're sitting pretty good here. We're happy with second. Obviously disappointed that we decided to go kill the wall after we had it won, but we'll take second from 23rd or whatever it was.
All right, and who do you want to give your shout outs to, Jared, for your second place here tonight?
Yeah, just gonna thank iBuy Power Computers, CDS Internet, and Kaufman Racing Graphics and Twitcher Race Reports for bid on the car. Thank Jim for the league, and thanks Sam Maxwell Plus for being the title sponsor. You guys for the broadcast, all the fans for tuning in, and hats off to Sam. That was a fun 5 laps, and pretty cool to see him get the win there. It's been, I think by his standards, he'd probably tell you it hasn't been the greatest year for him, so well-deserved win for him, so congrats to him.
All right, thanks again, Jared, and so we'll be talking to you later in the playoffs.
Sounds good, but see you later.
And now Evan with our victor here tonight, league sponsor, number 98 machine of Sam Maxwell.
Well, Sam, you just barely missed out on the playoffs this season, but today at Lucas Oil Raceway, you came out with your second win of the season. Describe what this race was like for you.
I'm pretty happy about it, actually. I bowed out of the chase to let the contenders go. As you know, there's a big prize for the champion this season. But yeah, I was, trying to wind the season down, have some good finishes, and I was strong here, and I just had to wait for the right moment, and thankfully I didn't get collected in it when Brian got turned there. So yeah, I had a good race, and I'm really happy about it.
Yeah, what was it like those last 10 laps? You had the lead and you were trying to hold Mogart off, and he can be kind of aggressive, and he was, but he kept it really clean, and it was a lot of fun watching it from up here. What was it like for you?
Well, I knew he was going to try a slide job, and I knew I was going to have to do a crossover move on him, but I was just hoping that I saved enough tires that I could get under him and stay under there, and thankfully I was able to, and it looked like he got into the wall, and after that I just drove away.
Yeah, and since you're not in the playoffs, you are just these next 3 weeks, you're going out there to have fun, so how do you feel going into Texas, ISM, and Homestead?
Yeah, you're right. It's all about having fun at this point, get some good finishes and have some great battles on the track, and hopefully just want to wind the season down with some clean races. I'd like to finish off the season with some good finishes, long green runs maybe, but just keep the car intact.
Yeah, hopefully we'll see you some more here in Victory Lane in these next few weeks. Is there anyone you'd like to thank or give a shout out to?
Yeah, I'm going to shout out to my wife and family. Hopefully they're all watching and excited about the win. I'm going to give a shout out to the league itself and Jim for doing an excellent job. To all the drivers, we've had a really great season. I'm glad you guys all came out and raced with us. And finally, thank you guys for doing a good job.
All right, well, thanks for talking with us, and good luck in these next 3 weeks of racing.
Thanks. We'll see you next time.
All right, so that is the post-race interviews, and it's going to quickly wrap up coverage here tonight with our sponsor shout-outs here on the PTRTV side of things. We have Air Movement and Fabrications, Kreutz Custom Graphics, overlays by iBog, iRacing Broadcast Overlay Graphics. Thanks to all those partners for everything they have done for the channel. Thanks to LSRTV for letting us showcase these races on their channel, and thanks to all the fans who support the league and watch these races week after week. Always fun doing them, and hope you guys are enjoying them at home. So signing out of the booth here tonight after calling the Sam Maxwell Customs ASRS Truck Series. Congrats again to Sam Maxwell after that phenomenal race, and congrats to all the good drivers who put on quite the show for us. It's Corey Silva, Evan Block, and Joe Chris signing out. Have a great night, and we'll catch you next time.
Have a good night. We'll see you next week.